Welcome, everyone. My name is Reverend Robin. Thank you for bringing your lovely lights here today. Oh, beautiful, both in person and we have Zoom. So I'm going to come in here on Zoom. We've got our Zoom people, and Zoom, you can hear me. Beautiful, sound is fine. And we are going to record on my phone on Facebook since they're not talking. Zoom and Facebook aren't talking. So we're trying to get them to talk. So welcome, and Clark is bringing me a beautiful mic, so now everyone can hear me. Thank you so much. And I think it's put it on.
Yeah, just put it on here. Okay, maybe you're gonna clip this on.
No. Let's see, I'll have to put it up at the podium. Play around with me, but that's okay, beautiful. And I'm welcoming everyone here. We got now Facebook, Zoom, and in person. My name's Reverend Robin, and this is the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light. Can everyone hear me? Is it good?
Doesn't
Can you
sound
hear
like
me?
you're on a-
Beautiful.
Does sound like you're on a mic.
Doesn't sound like I'm on a mic.
Yes, you are. You're
Yes.
good.
I am. They said
Move
yes.
this to the side.
Okay. It's here. It's doing something. Get it?
You squeeze. It's coming.
And you want it to go over here? You think it'd be better?
I do.
All right.
It
Can
is
you-
better.
Better. Perfect. This is our tech guy. This is Clark. We can't work without him. In this new age of Aquarius, right?
Thank you, Clark.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to open everything up. I have a wonderful talk today about the Hopi. So we've got a little bit of we're going to bring in the element of the American Indians, the natives, got a beautiful prayer for that, and give you this unbelievable history on the Hopi and their prophecies and how they've already come true and what they're predicting now for the future. Also going to let you know it ties in with the Colburn Bible, which is both the Celtic and they have the Cole book, and also from the Exodus, from the Israelites, and from the stories of creation from ancient times before the flood. So we have many of these ancient philosophies from indigenous people and others, because it ties into our own Bible. So all these are converging. So I thought today I'm going to focus on the Hopi, but also just show you the highlights from this Colburn Bible that I'll be going into a little bit more next month, so you can see the correlation. But why don't we go ahead and just set sacred space? And the Hopi, believe it or not, just so you know, their belief is that they come from Sirius, and that they before that came from Lyra. So they come from the stars. So we will open up with a beautiful ascension of frequencies, bringing in all the avatars of light from around the world. So we'll set our intentions, setting sacred space for the teachings. As we ascend up the highest frequencies from Earth to our higher self, to the heavens, and to the stars. Everyone has their own personal avatar that they identify with. You may wish, if you'd like, to concentrate upon the now. And we invite all the star beings and the avatars of light and now to accompany us on this beautiful journey of knowledge of seeking. So we have a beautiful prayer for paradise on earth. And everyone can have a copy. And I thought it would be nice if we all said it together. Because of all the things that we need now is peace. Peace in our hearts, peace upon earth, and peace in the heavens. This is a beautiful prayer for paradise on earth. You can find it for those of you who wish to get a copy of it at joerayfellowship.org in Florida there. And Joe Ray, it's JOHREI, fellowship.org. But let's go ahead and we'll say that together. Great God of light, we behold your plan unfolding, whereby all spiritual clouds are dispelled, impurity and error cleansed from the realms of spirit and matter. The age of light and joy is being born through your infinite compassion. Misguided forces awaken unto truth, and negative practices cease, while forces of light unhindered restore the world to peace. All of nature receives your loving influence and finds its rightful place. Peaceful clouds move across brilliant skies, and the fragrance of countless flowers floats upon the air. Abundant harvests glorify the earth, every corner filled with happy voices. Boundaries between countries vanish, and ancient conflicts disappear as if dreams. All people are united, encircled by your light, and guided by your wisdom. Through service to humanity, all are blessed. With health, peace, and prosperity. Strengthen us with courage and wisdom to follow your will and realize paradise on earth. Beautiful, beautiful. And so since today we are concentrating in the Hopi, there's a beautiful prayer that the American Indians have. And I thought we can bring that in today. Aho, Mataku Kawi Asan. It's all my relations. I honor you in the circle of life with me today. I am grateful for this opportunity to acknowledge you in this prayer. To the Creator, for the ultimate gift of life, I thank you. To the mineral nation that has built and maintained my bones in all foundations of life experience, I thank you. To the plant nation that sustains my organs and body and gives me healing herbs for sickness, I thank you. To the animal nation that feeds me from your own flesh and offers your royal companionship in this walk of life, I thank you. To the human nation that shares my path as a soul upon the sacred wheel of earthly life, I thank you. To the spirit nation that guides me invisibly through the ups and downs of life, and for carrying the torch of light through the ages, I thank you. To the four winds of change and growth, I thank you. You are all my relations, my relatives, without whom I would not live. We are in the circle of life together, coexisting, codependent, co-creating our destiny, one not more important than the other, one nation evolving from the other, and each yet dependent upon one above and the one below. All of us a part of the great mystery. Thank you for this life. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
And that's really with gratitude that we have to know how we move in this earthly world. Many, many thanks. From the invisible and the visible and the earthly. So I'm going to give you a quick summary of the Hopi so that you have a broad overview, and then I'm going to come in here very deeply and give you some of their prophecies and show you where they're coming from and what they have already done. So the brief overview is that the Hopi believe they're from the stars, that they're descended from the Pleiades, and before that, Lyra, the ring nebula, the eye of God. Now, if you remember this from your history, they went underground when there was a great cataclysm, and the ant people are the ones that showed them the way and showed them into the tunnels. And it was at that end of that third world devastation that they came out. And so then they came out, and the ant people showed them the ways when everything was safe again. So if you remember that, that's where this is coming from. And we know on those creation stories, and they will tell you that it not only is before Christ, but from times before that. So it took me a while because I had to go through a lot of the readings from the Hopi, and each one is now coming forth again and again with the elders. And what they have done from ancient of days is they will get together and they are taught this ancient history as they are the caretakers, the custodians of earth, and they are to keep the sacred ways. And so what they do is they tell everyone orally, and then when they come back together again, every single person has to relay the story. And if they have one error in it, they are corrected by the Mass to keep the story and the legend accurate. So this is an oral legend that has come forth, and they have been revealing it to the white man in the world. They even went to the United Nations to tell them of these prophecies in 1992. I was able to get a copy of that, and if I have enough time, and if it be all right with everyone, I'd like to make that time to tell you, and I'll read to you what they told the UN back in 1992. So they have been coming forth. They have been asking that we return to the natural ways of Earth to bring it in balance, because otherwise there's catastrophes that will happen. They have a prophecy rock that you can see that has been ingrained in like a petroglyph in their areas, and they live in the four corners. So the four corners, which they also believe is sacred, safe lands, okay? They were told this, that the waves would be coming up on both shores, and that there would be a fourth time that the earth would be devastated, but where they're at would be a safe area. So they live in the four corners, and that's with Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. So I'll give you some of the current prophecies, but also let you know that they were telling you that we have a choice. And I did find that. And they're predicting that we will have some times that we're going to have to go through the eye of the storm, that Earth has got an imbalance, that the leadership, of course, is misleading the masses and humanity, that they're pillaging Earth, and that we have to restore the balance. But what they're also saying, and I'll give that to you, is that God, their great spirit, came to them and gave them these stone tablets, and all the races got a few. And then they left, and they said that when the gods return, the Hopi have to be living a natural and pure life, and that they need to find the Hopi and give them a sacred handshake so that they know they're the Hopi, and they will bring the other talents back to show them. And if there's enough pure-hearted individuals, and the Hopi are here, they will come and help. And they're going to have helpers with them to help bring peace to the world, to offset this balance. But if they cannot succeed, then devastation will truly occur throughout the entire planet. And so that's the basis of what the Hopi are saying. And that's why it is a clarion call for all of us to find peace within and to beg our leaders, to beg the corporations, because that's what they were saying more than anything. You have corporations that are absolutely pillaging the earth. And that's what's bringing the imbalance to earth. So the other thing is, what I thought was fascinating is that they're saying that during this time that the people, humanity have a choice. And I'll read this to you. Have the choice to rise together and to fight for peace and for humanity. And that to take the leaders that are following the wrong path of greed and imbalance, and that they have that choice to take them and put them aside, bring them devastation. Because only when that is taken, when they're taken out, so that the greed and the devastation and the leadership that is wrong, they can make it right. And then the humans that live in harmony can prevail. So they're even predicting a revolution with humanity against the leaders that have gone astray. Isn't that interesting? So we do have a choice. Humanity does have that choice to fight for what is good and right and to restore freedom, because that's what they even had talked about with the Iroquois, because the earth is being affected and humanity and its citizens are being affected, and this is what they prophesize. So let me just give you a little bit more of what they're saying here in this blue star Kachina, and it can be a comet. They're also saying spirit, but something will fall from the heavens and everyone will witness it, and they will know that something that was built in the sky will fall. So there's different philosophies as if it's already happened, or if that was the blue one, there's another red one that's going to be the ultimate and final destruction for the purification of earth during the purification periods. So here's a little bit more of a summary to kind of give you a little bit of the background. The Hopi legend states that at the beginning of time, Tiawa, the creator, created his nephew to construct the places for life. Out of nothingness, their God, Great Spirit, created 9 universes and worlds, one for Tiawa, one for himself, and 7 others for additional life. The first 3 of these worlds, Tuhili, Tuba, and Korsa, have already been inhabited and subsequently destroyed. Those are the 3 worlds that were already destroyed due to the corruption and wickedness of man. And so that's when they're saying this now is in the 4th age, and we have a choice to get right this time. Each time one of the worlds is destroyed, the faithful Hopi are taken underground and saved from destruction to later emerge and populate the next world. So that's their belief, and you can see this, and there's other people that are stating that it even could be airships, which I thought was very interesting. So the 9th and final sign of destruction is described by Whitefeather as you will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens above the earth that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of my people will cease. And that's when the purification begins. Also stating, as I inferred, this war at the end of times is a war. It's a spiritual conflict, really, between good and evil, between materialism and spiritual. They're custodians of the earth. According to the Hopi prophecy, shortly after the blue star Kachina is visible to all, and that day that purification is realized, the true white brother will come to earth in search of Hopi, who steadfastly adhere to their ancient teachings. So it's interesting that you're going to see this all across earth, whether it's Viracocha or Quetzalcoatl, that you have these 7 sages that came after the flood, and that they came in with seeds and knowledge, taught the Aztecs, taught the Incas. You'll see these teachings. The Hopi have the same teachings, but they're saying that this true white brother will come. And when you're shown the same tablets that were engraved and they have a sacred handshake, he has to find that they still exist and that there is hope for earth, basically. So they are entrusted to be the guardians of the earth, and they take it very seriously. This is their wonderful, symbol for the 4 corners as the custodians, the Great Spirit. So I thought I would read to you from the Hopis. It's an elder Hopi. He's a chief, Dan Gibahimo. That's a very, now that you have the basis of this, what he's requesting. And then I'll give you a little bit of the direct, I've got the UN speech, but I also have their direct prophecy. But this is from the elder himself, talking about the prophecies, and I think you'll find it quite interesting. So this is the hour. You have been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. It's no longer it will be, it is. That's what he's saying, it's now. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in the right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. Go within to find connection. This could be a good time. Remember, we have a choice. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel like they are being torn apart, and they will suffer greatly. Know that the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above water. See who is there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and with celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. I thought you would love that, because he's trying to tell you that we do have hope and what you should be doing during these times. He is telling us here, we were told to settle permanently in the Hopi land. That's the 4 corners. where we met the Great Spirit and wait for older brother. That's this true white brother that's going to come. And he went to the east to return to us. When he returns to this land, he will place his stone tablets side by side to show all the world that they are true brothers, because they were gifted with engraved tablets. And he's going to bring the ones that match them. When the road in the sky has been fulfilled, and when the inventing of something, and that's in Hopi means gourd of ashes, that's the nuclear bomb. A gourd that when drops upon the earth will boil everything within a large space, and nothing will grow for a very long time. When the leaders turned to evil ways instead of the Great Spirit, we were told that there would be many ways this life would be destroyed. If humankind does not heed our prophecy and return to one's original spiritual instructions. And so that's why they're saying we must do this now. We were told of the three helpers. Now this is very interesting. We were told of the three helpers who were commissioned by the Great Spirit to help the Hopi bring about the peaceful life on earth. And it would appear to help us should we not change, but we should not change our homes, our ceremonies, our hair, because the true helpers might not recognize us as true Hopi. And they also have the sacred handshake, right? So we have been waiting all these years. It is known that our true white brother, when he comes, will be all powerful and will wear a red cap or a red cloak. Very interesting. We got to ask ourselves what this is. He will be large in population. So it's not just one, it's many. Belong to no religion but his own. He will bring with him the sacred stone tablets. With him there will be two great ones, both very wise and powerful. One will have a symbol or a sign of a swastika, which represents purity and is female, a producer of life. The third one, or the second one of the two helpers to our true white brother, will have a sign of a symbol of the sun. He too will be many people and very wise and powerful. We have in our sacred Kachina ceremonies a gourd rattle, which is still in use today, and these symbols of these powerful helpers of our true brother. So these are many, not just one, that will come to help and assist. And so then there are some different philosophies as to where these people are going to be coming to help assist, and we can talk about this at the end. It is also prophesied that if these three fail to fulfill their mission, because these are the helpers that are coming, do you see that? To try to restore peace on earth. And if humanity rises and takes its rightful place at the helm and ousts these leaders or corporations that are into the greed and the pillaging of earth, you see? It is also prophesied that if these three fail, these helpers, right, to fulfill their mission, then the one from the west will come like a big storm. You've got to ask yourself, who might that be? He will be many in numbers and unmerciful. When he comes, he will cover the land like the red ants and overtake this land in one day. If the three helpers chosen by the Creator fulfill their sacred mission, and even if there are only 1, 2, or 3 of the true Hopi remaining, holding fast to the last ancient teachings and instructions of the Great Spirit, Manasu, their God, our God, will appear before all, and our world will be saved. So that's that division on the petroglyph that shows that choice that has to be made. The three will lay out a new life plan, which leads to everlasting life and peace. And earth will become new, as from the beginning. Flowers will bloom again, and wild game will return to the barren lands. And there will be abundance of food for all. Those who are saved will share everything. So they said, we are now faced with great problems. Not only here, but throughout the land. Ancient cultures are being annihilated, which is true. Their lands are being taken. So now they went to the UN with these prophecies because even though they have been annihilated, even though the treaties have been broken, even though their lands have been taken, they still are the custodians of earth and they're taking this seriously. So let me give you the signs, the direct signs, and not even an interpretation so that you can see for yourself what they are. This is from Whitefeather, Hopi of the Ancient Bear Plan. And he gave these prophecies and it was written down. My people await Pahama, the lost white brother, from the stars, which then gives rise to which star are they coming from, do you see? As do all our brothers in the land, he will not be like the white men we know now, who are cruel and greedy. We are told of their coming long ago, but still we await Bahama. He will bring with him the symbols and the missing piece of that sacred tablet I spoke about, now kept hidden by the elders, given to him when he left, that shall identify him as our true white brother. If you can remember, in the Incas had the same legend of the true white brother or God would come return, and they mistook the conquistadors, you see, and Pizarro and Cortez. So they mistook them because they didn't have the legend about matching it with the sacred handshake and the tablets. The Hopi didn't get taken in. The fourth world shall soon end, and the fifth world will begin. This the elders everywhere know. The signs over many years have been fulfilled, and so few are left. And see, you can see what these are going to be. This is the first sign. We are told of the coming of the white-skinned men, which came like Pama, but not living like Pahama, men who took the land that was not theirs, and men who struck their enemies with thunder. That's the guns. When we came here to North America. This is the second sign. Our lands will see the coming of spinning wheels filled with voices. In his youth, my father saw this prophecy come true with his own eyes. The white men bringing their families in wagons across the prairies. Spinning wheels, covered wagons. This is the third sign. A strange beast like a buffalo, but with great long horns, will overrun the land in great numbers. This Whitefeather saw with his eyes the coming of the white men's cattle. This is the fourth sign. The land will be crossed by snakes of iron. So when you get the image, railroad. Remember the railroad? This is the fifth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed by a giant spider's web. That's the phone lines, the electric power lines. This is the sixth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed with rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun. Think of the highway, the pavement, and the mirage producing effect. You know, when you have the highways and the sun is baking it and it comes up like a mirage. So that's now the highways are in. This is the seventh sign. You will hear of the sea turning back and many living things dying because of it. Oil spills, you see, could be oil spills. Can you hear me? Can we repeat it? Okay. This is the seventh sign. You will hear of the sea turning black and many living things dying because of it. Now, this is the eighth sign. You will see many youth who wear their hair long like my people come and join the tribal nations to learn the ways and their wisdom. That was the hippie movement, right? They came, you got the Woodstock, right? They're even predicting that. And this is the ninth and last sign. That's the one we're talking about. You will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens, above the earth, that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of my people will cease. So this is where we're talking. Has it already come, or is it yet to come? And a lot of people are saying back in 1979, the US space station fell to Earth, and it did turn blue. But then other people are saying, no, it's going to be something bigger than that. So that's where you have controversy as to if this has already come about with the blue star or if it's yet to come. So now I want to tell you about the UN and what they told. I have this time here. They even knew that they would be turned when they were told and instructed as they're the custodians, and you have all the races here that have their own, they were given tablets and they have their own mission. So just let me read this to you before I read the UN. I think it will help you a little bit. The races, all the races were given the tablets, and they were stored in the following locations. The white people, their tablets are stored in Switzerland. The black people in the mountains of Africa. The yellow people have the tablets in Tibet, and the red have them in the Hopi lands. And this is telling you what they're saying. This is another elder. A white man will come and restore the fire clay tablet. So that's the one that's missing, right? The Hopi rock has a plus sign and a minus sign on it with a circle. They represent positive, negative, and neutral forces in a magnetic field. Where they crisscross is a vortex into the next dimension. So we're talking about portals. The greatest thing we have for healing is the human spirit. We are children of the sun. Prophecies which should have happened 10 years ago have been put off because they said that there was supposed to be an earthquake in California, but the Tibetans prayed and were able to postpone that. That's what the Hopi said. We have been given a window of opportunity because of all those prayers. Spiritual love is the answer. True knowledge is beyond words. Comets are a sign of the prophecy. And I am going to err for me on the side of the comets as the blue star coming, instead of just the Skylab that when it fell back then. Comets are a sign of prophecy. The comet in 1997, Hale-Bopp, was the twin Kachina, white and blue. The next one will be red. So they're even giving you specific directions. Do you see that? Because there's controversy. This elder is telling you, he's explained to you there was a comet in 1997. It was white and blue. Then there will be another one coming, and it will be red. Conversely, also in the Cobran Bible, they're saying the destroyer will come and it will be red. The next one will be red. It is the purifier, and it will stop and observe us. If we are not purified enough, it will finish the job for us. So that's where the window of opportunity is for us to come together as humanity and take back Earth and our sovereign rights. and have peace prevail, not the corporations and the greed and the mishandling of truth, because there's been a lot of mishandling of truth. He said, if there is an Armageddon, it'll be within each of us. We have 12 strands of DNA in our blood. Scientists don't know what they're for since they're not being used, but we can activate them ourselves. This is a Hopi elder telling us about this. One way is through drumming and ceremony, and that's why I brought the drum today. So we're going to close with a little bit of our own drumming ceremony. End time should be seen as the beginning time. We are creating at this moment what our tomorrow will be. So we can activate and bring forth purity again. And so we do have that choice within us. Now I wanted to give to you, I gave you the signs, you know what they are, you know their history. Now let me tell you what they said again in 1992. You see 1992 and 1997. So 92 they went to the UN, and 97 the one comet came, but they're predicting another one. This is exactly what was instructed to the UN, and they did not listen. But we, humanity, have to listen, right? And they were only given 10 minutes. So the first time they were turned away, they came back again pleading with them. And this time they were able to at least get 10 minutes. Let's see. We only have 10 minutes to speak, and time is late. So I am making my statement short. So this is a Hopi elder. At the meeting in 1948, Hopi leaders, 80, 90, and even 100 years old, explained that the Creator made the first world in perfect balance, where humans spoke one language, but humans turned away from moral and spiritual principles. They misused their spiritual powers for selfish purposes. They did not follow nature's rules, and eventually the world was destroyed by sinking of land and separation of land by what you would call major earthquakes. Many died and only a small handful survived. Then this handful of peaceful people came into the second world. So that's the first destruction. They repeated their mistakes, and the world was destroyed by freezing, which you call the Great Ice Age. So you can see how far back in time the Hopi have these prophecies. The few survivors entered the third world. That world lasted a long time. As in previous worlds, the people spoke one language. The people invented many machines and conveniences of high technology, some of which have not yet been seen in this age. This makes you think of Atlantis, right? They even had spiritual powers that they used for good. So that's very, you can see it's pointing in the direction of Atlantis with all the high technology. They gradually turned away from natural laws and pursued only material things, and finally only gambled while they ridiculed spiritual principles. No one stopped them from this course, and the world was destroyed by the great flood that many nations still recall in their legends. And if you go into the science of this, that's the Younger Dryas era, 12,800 years ago, and geologically they know this to be true. They believe and they can see that there was flooding on Earth, and it impacted Earth in a major way and caused all kinds of devastation. So science is even backing this up about the major flood. The elders said again, only small groups escaped and came forth to this world, the fourth world, where we're at now. Our world is in terrible shape again, even though the Great Spirit gave us different languages and sent us to four corners of the world and told us to take care of the earth and all that is in it. They were entrusted. They were the custodians of earth, right? The white men were the custodians of fire, and the black race was wind. This Hopi ceremonial rattle represents Mother Earth. The line running around it is a timeline and indicates that we are in the final days of the prophecy. What have you as individuals, as nations, as the world body been doing to take care of Earth? In the Earth today, humans poison their own food, water, and air with pollution. Many of us, including children, are left to starve. Many wars are still being fought. Greed and concern for material things is a common disease. In this Western Hemisphere, our homeland, many original native people are landless, homeless, and starving and have no medical help. The Hopi knew humans would develop many powerful technologies that would be abused. In this century, we have seen the First World War and the Second World War, in which the predicted gourds of ashes, which you call the atomic bomb, fell from the sky with great destruction. Many thousands of people were destroyed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. For many years, there has been great fear and danger of World War III. The Hopi believed that the Persian Gulf War was the beginning of World War III, but it was stopped, and the worst weapons of destruction were not used. This is now a time to weigh the choices for our future. We do have a choice. If you, the nations of this earth, create another great war, the Hopi believe we humans will burn ourselves to death with ashes. So they're instructing them to please do not use the atomic weapons, right? That's why the spiritual elders stress strongly that the United Nations fully open the door for native spiritual leaders as soon as possible. Nature itself does not speak with a voice that we can easily understand. Neither can the animals and the birds we are threatening with this extinction talk to us. Who in this world can speak for nature and the spiritual energy that creates and flows through all of life? In every continent are human beings who, like you, but who have not separated themselves from the land and from nature. It is through their voice that nature can speak to us. You have heard those voices and many messages from the four corners of the world today. I have studied comparative religion, and I think in your own nations and your cultures you have knowledge of the consequences of living out of balance with nature and spirit. The native peoples of the world have seen and spoken to you about the destruction of their lives and homelands, the ruination of nature, and the desecration of their sacred sites. It is time that the United Nations used its rules to investigate these occurrences and stop them now. The Four Corners area of the Hopi is bordered by four sacred mountains. The spiritual center within is a sacred site our prophecies say will have special purpose in the future for mankind to survive, and now should be left in its natural state. All nations must protect the spiritual center. And that's when they're saying, there's some of these other prophecies saying that the Sky Brothers are going to come, and that Four Corners area would be a safe place, and that last time they took the Hopi underground, that they may take them in their sky ships to save them. That was another part of that. The Hopi and all original native people hold the land in balance by prayer, fasting, and performing ceremonies. Our spiritual elders still hold the land in the Western Hemisphere in balance for all living beings, including humans. No one should be relocated from their sacred homelands in this Western Hemisphere or in anywhere in the world. The United Nations stands on our native homeland. The United Nations talks about human rights, equality, and justice, and yet the native people have never, ever had a real opportunity to speak to this assembly since its establishment until today. So they're nailing them because that wasn't right. It should be the mission of your nations in this assembly to use your power and rules to examine the work to cure the damage people have done to this earth and to each other. Hopi elders know that this was your mission, and they wait to see whether you will act on it. Now, I mean, they're really going after them. Nature, the first people, and the spirit of our ancestors are giving loud warnings. So this was back in December 10th, 1992. God is speaking, that's thunder. You see increasing floods, more damaging hurricanes, hailstorms, climate change, earthquakes, as our prophecy said would come. Even animals and birds are warning us with strange change in their behavior, such as the beaching of whales. Why do animals act like they know about the earth's problems and most humans act like they know nothing? And even right now, we have the problem that the whales are beaching themselves, but now they've got fish in the Keys are going around in circles and beaching themselves. This is the fish, and that's the Florida Keys. And then you're starting to see these animals, if you even go on YouTube all around the world, are walking around in circles. So the magnetic energy of Earth is changing right now, and the animals are picking that up.
How much of that are we creating with all of these
Yes, we're creating a lot of it.
electromagnetic frequencies that we're putting out?
Exactly. It's our doing. We've got the EMFs, we got the electricity, but we've got all kinds of pollution, toxicity, air, water,
G5.
G5, yes. All of this, and humans are doing it, and the corporations are doing it with no regard to what it's doing to Earth and us, and the people, and the children. And so they are trying, and because they were entrusted to wake the people up, and they are really trying. Right now, after what we've done to the Hopi, and they're still going into all corners and trying to tell people, please, this is a sacred duty. You have to, bring balance back to Mother Earth. Bring the prayers, bring the peace, fight for it. So if we humans do not wake up to the warnings, the great purification will come to destroy this world, just as the previous worlds were destroyed. They're laying it out there. And I want to show you just two, I'm looking at my time, from the Colburn Bible that will back the Hopi up. So they held up, these were the Hopi elders, and they held up to the UN that large picture of a large rock of the drawing in Hopi land. So that's the prophecy rock. And I actually have a picture of it, but you can look it up online. This rock drawing shows part of the Hopi prophecy. There are two paths. The first with technology, but separate from natural and spiritual law, leads to these jagged lines representing chaos. The lower path is one that remains in harmony with natural law. Here we see a line that represents a choice, like a bridging, joining the paths. If we return to spiritual harmony and live from our hearts, we can experience a paradise in this world. If we continue only on this upper path, which is where we're at right now, we will come to destruction. It's up to all of us as children of Mother Earth to clean up this mess before it's too late. So this literally, that was given to the UN in 1992. And I thought it was they were only given 10 minutes, and I thought it was very well, was concise and to the point, instructing them. So I think it's up to us at this point in time in humanity to wake each other up. And they're saying to reclaim, literally to reclaim what is rightfully ours. And so that's where I just want to show you this, and then I'll give you a little bit of the Colburn Bible that backs this up. The Hopi play a key role in the survival. Now, this is given by a Hopi elder. So I'm reading you his words, okay? The Hopi play a key role in the survival of the human race through their vital communion with the unseen forces that hold nature in balance. The pattern is simple. The whole world will shake and turn red. So remember, I talked about the other comet, but this next one, they're predicting will be red. The whole world will shake and turn red and turn against those who are hindering the Hopi. This prophecy is related to the biblical version of that which may yet come to pass. It goes on to say that common people will become concerned and frustrated because of their hectic world. We are there. They will be particularly against the bloodthirsty policies and the deceitfulness of the world leaders. We're there. The common people, the world over, will band together to fight for world peace. They will realize that their leaders have failed. People in high places will be hunted down like animals. In turn, leaders will retaliate and begin hunting each other. This condition will gather strength and spread far and wide. It will get out of control the world over. Revolution could erupt on our land, and that's in the sacred four corners, right? The liberators will come in from the west with great force. They will drop down from the sky like rain. They will have no mercy. And that's, remember I showed you that before, that if we don't get it right, then they will come in force from the west. We must not get on the housetops to watch. They will shake us by our ears, like children who have been bad. This will be the final decisive battle between good and evil. This battle will cleanse the heart of people and restore our Mother Earth from illness, and the wicked will be gotten rid of. If this fails to materialize, our great Creator through nature will do the task according to their plans. It could be total destruction in any form. Only brother and sister will survive to begin a new way of life. Perhaps it is of no value to most people. I mean, that's how they, only if you're interested are you going to listen to my words. So I'll read this, and then we're just going to do a 5-minute little prayer here to hope that we make the right choice as humanity, right? Eventually, a gourd full of ashes would be invented, which, if dropped from the sky, will boil the oceans. And I had told you this before. This would be the sign for certain Hopi to bring out the teachings in order to warn the world that the third and final event would happen soon. And it could bring an end to all life unless people correct themselves and their leaders in time. So this is a calling for us to correct ourselves and the leaders. The final stage, called the Great Day of Purification, has been described as a mystery egg in which the forces of the swastika and the sun, plus a third force symbolized by the color red, culminate either in total rebirth or total annihilation. We don't know which, but the choice is yours. War and natural catastrophe may be involved. The degree of violence will be determined by the degree of inequity caused among the peoples of the world and the imbalance of nature. In this crisis, rich and poor will be forced to struggle as equals to survive. The reality that it will be very violent is now almost taken for granted among the traditional Hopi. But man still may lessen the violence by correcting his treatment of nature and fellow man. Ancient, spiritually based communities, such as the Hopi, must especially be preserved and not forced to abandon their wise way of life and the natural resources they have vowed to protect. So I'll close it with this end, which I thought was very interesting. Now we enter the time of testing, because that's what we're in, that only the great Creator can conform. The alignment of the planets we were so kindly informed of by the Star Watchers. Do you see how they're speaking to star people? Has been awaited by the Hopi. As the time nears, the predicted behavior of the people accurately describes the behavior of the people in the 1990s. When the end is near, we will see a halo of mist around the heavenly bodies. 4 times it will appear around the sun as a warning that we must reform. Ambitious minds will decrease, while the people of good hearts who live in harmony with the earth will increase until the earth is rid of evil. If the Hopi are right, this will be accomplished and the earth will bloom again. The spiritual door is open. Why not join the righteous people? The horny-toed woman gave Masao, that's their god, a promise that she would help him in time of need, saying she too had a metal helmet. Isn't that interesting? A metal helmet. I wonder what that could be, right? After the Hopi have fulfilled their pattern of life, Masanu will be the leader, but not before, for he is the first and he shall be the last. So hopefully I've given you at least a good overview in 1 hour to understand what the Hopi's prophecies are. And I thought we could close with a little prayer that we awaken and take back what is ours and bring the peace for this beautiful paradise on earth that can happen if we make the right choice and rid this earth of those people that tend to want to do it harm. And I did want to share with you, because I lived in South Dakota, this is a true peace pipe from South Dakota. So as a symbol for us to bring peace in. And this was wonderful from the Lakota Sioux. So you'll see that. And so we're going to do a beautiful little peace meditation, if you'd like. And we have some instruments if you want to get into the flavor of this as we can drum. Remember, they said one of the ways is to drum. So we have some beautiful things if you guys want to try one and play along. Yeah. Let's try something. Okay. Take a drum. Okay. You got one of those little ones? These are going to be drums. And if you guys want to see this, this is an original Hopi prophecy, and you know they even did it on their own printing press. But this was back from like the 80s and 90s, and you can most certainly see this at the close. But let's go ahead and have this beautiful drumming, and we are going to be drumming that we awaken the peace within us, peace for mankind, and take back what is rightfully ours, which is planet Earth, right? Oh, to the spirit come into us. The warning of hope. And we drum as we're instructed. Drum for activation. Drum for the connection to the visible and the invisible. To each other. To make right what is wrong. To awaken the peace within us. To activate and bring awakening to our leaders. Casting out those that need harm to earth. Casting out those that need harm to humanity. The people, custodians who follow the peace. Working in harmony with ourselves. Working in harmony. Making relations right. Working for the soul. working in harmony with water, working with harmony, air, Mother Earth. Use the right being exposed within ourselves and let us know the right way back to us again. Casting out grief, casting out selfishness, casting out corporations that will have to unity other alive. Let's bring it back into alignment. Shalom. The grace of God. The peace that we feel we get to by it and know what's right. What is right in our lives and we activate that. With it, in our nation, in our family, ourselves, and let's unite humanity together as one. That's going to do us all. And he was and choose the right way. We can push it. Huge. When the right brother comes, have it for heart. Little deep. Humanity. Just the lives. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're trying to close on time. If you have any questions, we'll be here. Share with you all the links that I have. I really thank you for coming. For those of you who are interested, this is the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light. They have many things that are ongoing. I encourage everyone to go to their website to look at their events. If you would like to help us share our light, you can go to the donation link. There's a basket here for the in-person people, but those of you that are online, you can go to www.ccosl.com/donate so that we can continue to bring the light and the Hopi way to bring life and balance. So I'm going to sign off with Facebook, sign off online for the Zoom, and thank you for coming. Are there any questions for anyone? I'm going to, before I click off, are there any questions? Let's see. I'm waiting for Zoom. Okay, beautiful. And I will go ahead and click off on Facebook Live here. All right. And on Zoom, last call for questions. Thank you. I see. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. If anyone wants to know, you can email me. I'll give you all the links where I got all of the information. All right. Bye. Thank you for attending.